Hey, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing today on this fine Wednesday evening? It's kind of late, man. Haven't been able to get on YouTube in a while. Been so freaking busy at work and some other stuff at home, like yard work, housework. You know how that is. We've been really busy as we're getting into AC season at work. So, the calls are coming in. I'm getting like 7, 8 calls a day. On top of I'm not gonna say little repairs, but on top of repairs for evaporator coils, compressors, blower motors, condenser fan motors, stuff like that. So which to me is really not a big repair. It's just somebody else would be a big repair, but everybody's got a different preference, I reckon. So yeah, man, I haven't been able to really get on here and do videos. So finally getting around to doing a video. Wanted to tell you guys real quick, I hope everybody's been having positive days, positive weeks, positive months, and I hope you guys are going to have a positive year. Think positive, do positive, be positive, get positive results. Give off that energy to someone that may need it. We don't know what someone's going through, so positive energy off of us to them may help them a whole lot. That may be all they need. It's just one piece of positive energy, man, and it could change them forever. You never know. So we just never know what a person's going through. So always try to be respectful. Always try to be mindful, and just be, take into consideration that not everybody is smiling on the inside like they are on the outside. So everybody's going through stuff. I go through stuff. I'm sure you people that watch me on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, y'all go through stuff. So just try to be positive, stay positive, be positive, get positive results, give off that positive energy to somebody else, and who knows, might be able to change somebody. Whew. Okay, so I am finally gotten around to doing this video. People have been asking me to do it, and I am way behind. I took this. So people have been asking me to do this reassemble video on this G-series transmission for Escort GT, Mazda Protege, Kia Sophia. I almost said Mazda Miata, so it's not a Mazda Miata. Mazda Miata is rear-wheel drive. So basically it's 90 through 94 Mazda Protege LX, 91 through 96 Ford Escort GT. 97 through 2002 Escort LX and ZX2. This is the transmission I'll be reassembling, but this particular transmission is for a 90 through 94 Protege, 91 through 96 Ford Escort GT, and a 95 through 97 Kia Sophia. Alright, all equipped with G-series transmission, of course. So, without further ado, let's get started here. So, as you guys can see, I have this thing covered up. This transmission is for Casey Jones. Now, also, I got to tell y'all that too. So, as some of you know, I posted, Casey Jones got dropped off at the paint and body shop, my buddy's paint and body shop, the end of last month. So, the body work is pretty much done. They just got to sand Casey down and get ready to shoot him. The color is a little bit of surprise. I try to keep everybody, thinking and kind of guessing what kind of color we're going to go with, stuff like that. So, kind of got that from Jasmine. Jasmine was like, stop telling people what we're doing. Stop posting everything until the end. And I'm like, So we started doing that with Tough. We did it with Slushbox, and now I'm going to do it with Casey Jones. So yeah, man, been working on trying to get around to getting stuff ready for him because he is going to Ford Nationals this year in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So the motor and transmission is out of this car. The interior is pretty much out of this car, except for the dash. The seats are out, stuff like that. Console's out, stuff like that, man. So I'm trying to get this car back together. I'm trying to get this bad boy back together. So as you can see, there's the engine. There's the block right there. I got to put that together. Here's the transmission. This is stuff. I got to put all this back together, man, and get it in the car. But guess what? We're going to make it happen. I don't care what's got to happen, but we're going to make it happen. I've pretty much dedicated myself to getting this done. So I finally got around to being able to start on Casey Jones drivetrain and powertrain. So again, here we go. So of course, you see I got it covered up. As we all know, man, cleanliness is key. Try to always keep your parts clean and stuff when you do a reassemble on anything, whether it be an engine and transmission. If you notice, I got the cases covered up and I got the block is covered up. 2 pieces of plastic on the block, and I got some heavy duty plastic here on the cases, so dust, dirt, debris doesn't get in there. When you go to put it back together, you could have a piece of trash in one of your races for where your bearing goes. If you get any trash in that race, you tear the race up, tear the bearing up, and then you'll have problems. So we don't want that at all. So without further ado, man, I know I probably said that like 8 times already. Now let's go ahead and get this cover off of here. Alright. Hold on, let me set you down. Can't do 2 things at one time. Well, I can, but it makes more sense to just put the camera here. Let me roll this down so you can see what's going on. Alright, here we go. So we're going to take this loose. Take this all apart. Alright. Bag here. And alright. So as down. Put that back up like this. Alright, so as y'all can see, cases are clean. Got the case all nice and cleaned up. Fresh, ready to go. This is the 5th gear cover. Cleaned that up. It's all oil free and ready to go. So, oil tray for 5th gear. That's all cleaned up and stuff. I got most of my stuff. I got my bolts cleaned up. And that's another thing, man, your bolts. You know, sometimes when we take our bolts loose, they'll have like oil and stuff in them, and trash will stick to our threads, and then we go to screw it back into these aluminum, screw the bolts back into these aluminum cases. I'm telling you, man, these threads are not very strong at all. Actually, they're pretty soft compared to like a steel, a steel set of threads. These are just aluminum. So if you run this bolt in an aluminum case and you got trash in the threads, it's going to tear up. It's going to tear up the threads in the case for sure. So I always try to make it a habit of cleaning my bolts off, making my bolts look good, so they're nice and clean when they go back in, nice and fresh. Same thing with the little baby bolts too. I try to clean them up, man, and just make sure that all our bolts, the threads are clean, everything's clean, right? So cleanliness is number 1. Cleanliness also allows you to see what's going on with your parts. You put nasty, dirty, oily, gunky parts back together, you could have a problem just because the stuff was just so nasty, So, alright, so the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to start reassembling this transmission, of course. So the first thing you want to do, guys and gals, is put that differential in here. So usually what I do is I'll take like some grease or something and put on the bearing, or gear oil or whatever, whatever have you. And that way, you put it all back together and it's nice. And, this one's still got a fair amount of gear oil on it. So I'll probably just go ahead and drop it in. But sometimes I'll do like, bearing grease or anything like that. Gear oil, stuff like that. So alright, so we're going to go ahead and drop him in. Now notice this one I've welded this up. I've welded the pin so the pin doesn't come out. I'm not going to be like racing this car or nothing, hot dogging it, just going to be cruising around on the street. Maybe later on it might get a turbo. It's already got a lightweight flywheel in it. That's going to have a lightweight flywheel in it and a decent clutch. So yeah, I just decided to weld a diff just for cheap assurance, man. This transmission I think had about 300,000 miles on it. And I didn't have a problem with it unwelded, but, who knows, man. If I get that turbo on here, I might be playing around a little bit. Alright, so we're going to put this bad boy in place. Ow, my fingers. Alright, there he is. Ready to go, rock and roll. And always take and spin your parts, man. Make sure, you don't hear no you don't hear any, you know, abnormal noises, stuff like that. You know, I always like to spin my parts and stuff like that just to be sure that nothing weird is going on, right? All right, so next you're going to take your gear towers. Now, word of advice, I never take the forks off of these. I always leave these gear shafts together. Reason being, they're easier to deal with when you pull them out, and they're easier to deal with when you put them back in place as well. So, all right, so real quick. So when we install these, this shaft right here is going to go in here. So when this shaft goes in here, there's a pin that goes in the side right there, and that pin looks just like this. That's what that pin looks like, right? That's what the pin looks like. All right, so once we get that shaft lined up in this gear selector here, it's going down in there, and then it's going to line up with that hole, and then we're going to run that pin right through there. So that way it'll hold it here. So I'm going to set the phone down. I'm going to set the camera down. I'm so used to saying phone because I'm always using my phone to do recordings. I'll be honest with you, man. Probably about 90% of my YouTube videos were done with my phone. So I won't be able to pick this thing up. So I'm going to move y'all closer so y'all can see what's going on here. I'll give y'all a close up. But yeah, 90% of my videos were done with my phone. So now I'm using my little Picasso Pro camera to do my YouTube stuff, and it's working out pretty well. All right, so like so, I'm gonna grab this. Oh yeah, one more thing. So always inspect this seal, and you know, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I have had many cases where I have reused this seal and didn't have not a leak at all. And then sometimes I'll replace it depending on how tore up it is. But just cheap assurance, just to replace your seal right here, because this is your input shaft seal that goes into your clutch and through the transmission bell housing into your clutch. So you really don't want no gear oil leaking past this point, getting down in your bell housing and potentially getting on your clutch and your flywheel, causing your clutch to slip. That would be a bad day. A very, very bad day. So yeah, so just try to you know, get in the habit of changing your gaskets and stuff like that and all that good stuff. So all right, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick this gear set up here. Yeah. Oh, make sure he's good. Yep. Drop this bad boy down in here. Try to get it all lined up and see if she'll go. Oh. Yeah, look at that. Like a glove. Like a glove. So, there we have our gear shafts. Okay. Before I pick this camera up with these nasty hands, we can wipe them off. But as y'all can see, you know, I got the gear shaft sitting down in there now. So, let me show you guys what we got now. Alright, so we got the gear shafts in there. And remember I was telling y'all, that's where that shaft goes down. And that hole right there meets up with that hole, and then you have that roll pin that goes through there, and that roll pin holds this shaft right here. So that way when you're shifting gears, stuff like that, you know, you don't have nothing coming loose in the transmission. That would be a bad day. But they're your gear towers. Like I say, you know, just give everything a spin just to kind of make sure everything is good to go. You know, kind of hard to spin when everything's kind of flopping around, but for the most part, stuff's spinning around. So the ultimate test is when you get that back case. When you get that back case on, you get this back case on and everything spins freely. Oh, you gold. You know how many times I've been doing this? When I first started pulling these transmissions apart, put that back case on and that sucker wouldn't spin, you'd be like, oh, what the hell did I forget? So professionals make mistakes too, man. So yeah, now here are gear towers, and I'm gonna go ahead and install this pin, this roll pin right here. So I gotta get this bad boy lined up, drive that pin in, and then yeah, we'll continue on. But yeah, man, like I said, the ultimate test is getting that back case on. Once that back case is on there, and you wiggle and jiggle that sucker down, and that sucker and that bad boy line up and start spinning around. Oh, you're good to go. You are good to go. All right, so I'm gonna set y'all down again because I gotta get this pin set in place. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me see if I can get y'all guys a little closer. Trying to be up on me all the way, but I just want to see so you guys can see what's going on. All right, so let me grab. I need my hammer and my punch set. Alrighty, so got my punch set here, and now I'm trying to see if I can get this bad boy. And so real quick, in order to get this gear selector up, I have to take and bump the shifter in, and this will drive this up, so it'll meet up so I can get this hole. These holes to line up, and then I'll be able to drive that pin, that roll pin in there. So let me do that real quick. Boy, it looks like I got it. It was very close. I think I got it now. Yeah. Got my light. Take my light, make sure we got it good. Close. Very close. Very close. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit of a bear. Just trying to keep it pushed that way. So, yeah, take a little punch or pen, something like that, man, and trying to get them lined up. Sometimes they can be a bear for real. Try to get everything lined up like you want it. Yeah. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain. You just gotta work it the best way you can. Alright. I think I'm easy to do this right here. Just to try to get it. Alright, I'm gonna try to drive this pin in. Have to put these crazy lights on so I can see what's going on. Yeah, this is going to be a little challenging. Can be a little bit challenging, ladies and gentlemen. Take your punch and hit this bad boy. Almost got it. Trying to get that bad boy to line up right. There we go. Yeah, this bad boy is having me trouble. Bad boy is giving me trouble. goodness. This thing is not being friendly to me, y'all, as y'all can see. Alright, so pull it back out. Look out the shaft. Alright, so let me see. Get it going. These bad boys have always given me trouble. All the time. Maybe it'll push. That's what it was. I need to push this out there again. Alright. Let me get it again a second, guys. Give me a minute. Alright. Almost got me. Hold on, guys. I think, okay, there we go. I lost the freaking hole now. Shoot. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I lost the hole, y'all. I'll find it in a minute. Good thing this ain't a girl, right? She'd be disappointed in me right about now. Got this bad boy. Let's try to get it right. As y'all can see, this is where I struggle. Okay, think I got it now. Let's see, Maestro. Whew. Hopefully we can get it to go now. I think we can get it to go now. There we go. There it goes. Okay, finally. Finally got it go. Y'all got to see me struggle just a tad bit there, but that's okay. That's the name of the game. That's part of it. I'm gonna struggle sometimes. Whew. All right. So, as y'all can see, there's that bad boy I was having problems with getting that shaft lined up with this. So, it's a little bit of a job to get everything lined up to where you can turn this shaft and get that hole perfect to where you drive that sucker right in. So, yeah, had to get that bad boy in there. We got it though. We got it. All right. So next, we're gonna put in. Let me see. Yeah. So the shaft. So we're gonna put this bad boy shaft right here in. Yeah, so I'm going to take that 10mm bolt out that I just got kind of hanging out in there. That way we can get everything down in there. So it's got to go down in here and then down in that race here. that sleeve, down in that sleeve. And then this portion actually meets up with this pin right here. So let's go ahead and get that taken apart so we can do that. Alright. So, see, y'all saw me struggle with that. Well, one thing is too though, I don't ever take that gear selector out. I always leave the ball and spring in, and I leave the pivot ball and the, you know, this shifting mechanism. I always leave that in. You know, I've never taken it out. And sometimes I'll struggle with it, man, and sometimes, you know, it's good to me. So, you know, luck of the draw sometimes. So, put this bad boy in here. Put him in first. And then you drop your pin all up in. Alright. And slide him down in there. And then you, yep, slide that bad boy in there. Alright. Alright. So, you get this shaft is in there now. So, you always have to line up you got a bolt hole there. I'm trying to get it right to you so you guys can see it. There it is. So you got to get your bolt hole lined up there. And I'll pull it up a little bit so you can see. See the bolt holes right there. Of course, you see that piece sliding down on me, but yeah, just make sure you get that lined up. Put your bolt in there. Get that all tightened up. And then when you do that, stick your fifth gear right here. Fifth gear gear in your shaft goes there. And then of course this right here rides on your fifth gear gear itself. So let's get that put together. Ooh-wee. All right, man. Finally getting this done. All right. Let's go ahead and line up this bolt. Put that shaft. This in place. So, yeah, this is in place now. Up. All right. Now, the fifth gear shaft. This is your shaft right here. And that's fifth gear. Now, mind you, this fifth gear shaft has to line up with the rear case. And there is a hole, I want to say, I think it's this hole. Yeah, it's this hole right here that lines up with the fifth gear shaft and it holds it in place. So we're going to go ahead and get that installed. And that goes, I'll show you guys where that goes real quick again, so you know. That goes right here, right there in that sleeve. So fifth gear will sit in here like so. And then you spin that around the best of your abilities so you can get it lined up when you put that rear case on. So let's get that installed real quick. All right. Alrighty. Got that in. You got that on. Okay. All right. So, got the fifth gear case on. Fifth gear case. Fifth gear on. Alright, so we got your fifth gears right here. There's your shaft. There's the shaft here I was installed just not too long ago, and that actually makes up, that actually is going to, hold on, trying to get the camera right. That's actually going to mate up with this bad boy here. So make sure those two teeth right there line up with these, and then you're good. So we pretty much got just about everything installed on the inside here. And there's your, there's your diff, and there's your gear shafts. Now, this is your primary gear shaft. That's your input shaft. This is your counter shaft, of course, and this is your differential, and this is your fifth gear. Now, always remember, fifth gear is the only straight cut gear in the transmission. Fifth gear is the only straight cut gear. You notice how that gear is just straight. They're straight cut, and then you come up here to these gears here, your drive gears, and they're angle cut. And the reason why they're angle cut is to cut down on noise. And you notice how when you put the car in reverse, it goes. So straight cut gears are very, very noisy, versus angle cut gears are quieter. So that's the difference between those two. Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, why is the reverse straight cut, and why is your drive gears angle cut? Well, to reduce noise. Have you guys ever heard a buddy of mine has an Audi all-wheel drive and makes about 1,000 horsepower, and he's got a straight cut transmission in his car, and that sucker is loud. I mean, it is loud. It really sounds like something is wrong with the transmission, but it's not. It's just super duper freaking loud, dude. Because it's straight cut gears. All right, so as soon as I find the piece that I'm looking for, I'm trying to find my, let's see, where is my daggone, I'm looking for my vent. Any of you guys seen my transmission vent? Oh, there it is, right there. Alright, so, now, so this here is for the trans vent, which the trans vent is over here. If anybody's ever been wondering what this little guy is right here, that's on top of the bell, right behind the bell housing, that is your vent for the transmission. There is a little port, if I can find it for y'all. Hold on. See that? See that little port right there at the top? Not the bolt hole there, but there's a port. Let me get this light right. See that little port right there? So always make sure that little port is clear. And that's your vent. So your port leads right up here to this vent right here. So make sure that port is clear, and make sure this vent can breathe, because